Hey, this is Tuan Aditya from Lighthaven. Today I'm going to be trying to dispel some myths as well as give you at least what's in my opinion every possible attack you can do with a knife. This video was inspired by a question that was asked of me about 12 basic knife attacks. Now in the Filipino martial arts, almost every single style will have their own 12 basic attacks, whether it's stick, whether it's knife, double stick, and the style that I do, Pikiti Toshakali, also has 12 basic knife attacks in saksa or in the hammer grip, as well as pakal or in the ice pick grip. However, in my opinion, regardless of the style you do the martial art, you do the weapon-based martial art that you do, there are only so many ways of slashing and there are only so many ways of thrusting. And I wanted to make this video to sort of go over what I believe those ways of slashing and thrusting are. If I've missed anything, if you feel I have to add anything, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to be sharing with you 12 attacks that I believe are the source of all other knife attacks that you can find. Now, I have to put a disclaimer that these don't come from Pikiti, they don't belong to any Filipino martial art, any other martial art in general. These are the conclusions that I have reached through all of my years of training. I'm also going to be showing you how to do them in pakal and saksa and how it translates when you go from this grip to this grip. If you're familiar with me or the channel or the art that I do of Pikiti Toshakali, you know that Pikiti is based on a lot of geometry. And so while this isn't the abecedario or the 12 basic attacks in the knife, in either of the grips that you find in the art, it is heavily based on the geometry of the art. So we're going to start with our two diagonal lines. First our forehand diagonal and then our backhand diagonal. This is then going to be followed by a reverse diagonal. Now here you have two choices. Either you go thrust and then thrust, or you go slash and then slash. That's up to you. So we're going diagonal, diagonal, reverse diagonal, coming to the opposite side, reverse diagonal. Again we went forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand. Now we're going to do our horizontal lines. Forehand horizontal, backhand horizontal. So these are 6 slashes that we're going to begin with. One more time. Forehand diagonal, backhand diagonal, forehand reverse diagonal, backhand reverse diagonal, forehand horizontal, backhand horizontal. From here I'm going to come with a vertical slash going from 12 o'clock right down to 6 o'clock. Now in my opinion these are your 7 basic types of slashes. An argument can be made for almost like a slash that goes maybe from 6 o'clock up to 12 o'clock. But you don't really see it very often, which is why I'm excluding that. We have diagonal, diagonal, reverse diagonal, reverse diagonal, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, low thrust, low backhand thrust, high forehand thrust, high backhand thrust, and I'm going to pull it back and end with a knife jab, which is almost like a back fist, but I'm going to be aiming with the tip of the weapon. And that makes it 12. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now let's look at the same principles in our pakal or our ice pick grip. Also, if you see a dog in the background somewhere over there, just try and ignore her. So we're going to go again, high diagonal forehand, high diagonal backhand, reverse diagonal forehand, reverse diagonal backhand, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, low forehand, low backhand thrust, high forehand thrust, high backhand thrust, and we end with a jab. It's important to note that we're trying to take the emphasis away from things like targets that you would find in most normal abecedarios of any style, 12 basic attacks of any style, and put them into angles and things like forehands and backhands, which are more easily transferable and universal across grips and across weapons. Having said that, it is important to know what you're doing. Some angles in some grips, it makes more sense to slash rather than thrust. For example, my high forehand slash, diagonal slash in my saksa or hammer grip, it makes more sense to do it as a slash in this grip. Can I do it as a thrust? Yes, but it makes more sense from a body mechanics standpoint to do it as a slash. Similarly, for the horizontal strikes. Now, right now I'm doing slash and slash, but you can just as easily do thrust and slash, or slash and thrust, or thrust and thrust. But just know in your head beforehand what are you doing. The cool thing about this way of viewing attacks is that there's a lot of exploration that you can do. Just know what it is that you're going to do with a slash or thrust beforehand. The next thing is specifically a pakal or ice pick grip oriented thing. So you have your 4 thrusts that I showed you. Now the difference between the last thrust and a knife jab is important to note. My last thrust, or the backhand high thrust, is a backhand high thrust, is what it says. It's coming from here in to center line, whereas a knife jab is going straight. The trajectory is straight and not from outside to center line. So that's an important distinction to make and an important way to practice it. In my experience, every attack with the knife has its source in a diagonal line, a reverse diagonal line, a horizontal line, a vertical line, or one of these 4 thrusts. Everything is just a variation of one of these lines. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like and share this video. Please do subscribe to the channel. If you have anything to add to the discussion, leave that in the comments down below. If you have any questions or requests for future videos, please also leave that in the comments down below. All of these things really do help out the school and the channel a lot. A huge thank you to all of our patrons on our Patreon channel. If you would like to know more about our Patreon page, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below. Lastly, our online classes are up and running. Our residential program is up and running. If you'd like to come and train with us, either online or here in Goa, check out the email address I'm going to leave in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.